Hi there, I'm Ben, an RV technician here at Lichtsinn RV. Today we're going to be going through our Spirit 31H, our rental orientation. Alright, so to start this off, the very first thing we're going to talk about is our battery disconnect. So the battery disconnect is to actually shut the batteries down when we're not using the coach. So when you're using it, more than likely they're going to be on all the time. The battery disconnect is right around the door, or right around inside the door here, and it's labeled coach battery. So that is either on or off whenever we're using the coach. So make sure that's on. That's the first thing. Next thing we'll talk about is the keys we have on our key ring. So the big square black one here is going to be for the deadbolt on the door up here. So that'll be that top lock there. The next one is going to be this black key, the round one. That's going to be for your normal handle lock. The next one is a silver one here. That will unlock all your compartments on the outside of the coach. And last but not least, we got the key that's labeled Ford. So of course that's going to be your chassis starting key. So that's your keys. Right inside the door is a fire extinguisher also, so it's easy access inside or outside if we ever have an emergency. Coming right to the outside here, we do have 110 volt outlets on the outside here. We have a coax hookup here in case we want to put a TV out here. This is pre-wired into the antenna on the roof so we can get any on-air channels. Down below that is going to be storage that we have on the outside here. And again, that's going to lock with that silver key that we have on the keyring. Tire-wise, all of our rear tires are going to have 80 psi of pressure. The fronts will have 70 psi of pressure. All right, we have more storage here behind the tire. And as we keep coming back, we'll have another storage. This is actually through and through storage, so this will actually go all the way to the other side so we can fit longer things in there, whether it's tables, whatever we're using it for that is longer. Coming to the back of the coach, we do have a ladder that does take us up to the roof, which does have a 225 pound max on it. The roof does get very, very slippery when it gets wet, snow on it, anything. So let's just stay off the roof. There's really no reason to be on that roof. That's kind of for us to get up there and check seals and stuff. So let's just stay off there. All right, towing wise, we have 5,000 pounds of towing, 500 on the vertical tongue weight. Then there is a 7-pin adapter down there for any of the trailering. Around here on the driver's side, rear compartment, we do have a lot of storage in this compartment. And then that's the other side of that through and through storage. So nice big storage where we can store lots of the stuff that we're taking with. This one does have a latch up here on the right side, which does hold the door up. Make sure we do release that before we bring that door down. These are really easy. If I yank on this door, you'll rip them off the coach. So always release that, pull it down, just be careful with stuff. All right, coming forward, we have a tank fill valve here. So this is where we're gonna hook the hose up to fill our freshwater tank. And that's the only thing this does is fill the freshwater tank. That won't feed any water to your lines, nothing, just to the freshwater tank, and then we turn the pump on to feed the lines in the coach. Next one up is going to be a black tank flush. So this is plumbed into our black tank and it helps rinse it out, helps keep our tanks clean, helps our sensors reading right. When you are dumping, if you have the chance to use that, rinse it out, make sure everything stays clean. Next one up is going to be city fill. So now this is where if the resort offers water, we're going to hook the hose up right here, and then that will feed all of our lines inside the coach. This one does not go to your freshwater tank, strictly to your lines. Next thing up is a cable in. So if the resort offers cable, this is where we hook a coax line up to, and then we do a channel search for their cable stations. Close that. We're going to go straight down from here. All right, we're gonna go to our dump station. So dump station wise, we do have the cap here. What you're gonna do is take that cap off. And then back here in the bumper is where the sewer hose is gonna be stored. pop the cap off the side of the bumper, pull the sewer hose out, and then what we're going to do, come up here to the dump station, and all it is a little quick connect. So just line it up with the tab and then twist to lock it in place. Then you'll take the other end here, put that in the dump station, and then here we're labeled what the dumps are. So we have black in front or in the rear, and then gray in the front. We always want to dump the black tank first. So there's a T-handle way underneath here. It's really hard to see. So right up here, grab it, pull it straight out. That will dump all the black tank out the hose. And then after you hear all the water, everything done draining, then we're gonna dump the gray waste, which is right here, the other T-handle. Then pull that, and that helps rinse the hose out, dumps all the gray tank. Once you're done, everything out of there, make sure we close those T-handles again. Undo the hose, put that cap back on there, and then we're going to store that hose again back in that bumper. The one thing we want to make sure we do after we store the hose is push it in there and make sure you put this cap on all the way. It's just a rubber cap, otherwise we can lose that going down the road. Okay, moving forward, we have our fuel tank. On the driver's side towards the rear here, unleaded fuel only, no E85 or any of that. We want to use just super unleaded or straight unleaded on that. Up here we do have our hot water heater, which is here. Furnace is right down below that. And then down below this is actually our LP tank. So this is where we're actually going to fill our LP tank. When they fill, they'll use this port right here to fill. This is the 80% outage valve. They'll open that when they fill. The main thing you need to know is right here. This is the shutoff for all LP to the coach. It's righty-tighty, lefty-loosey to go to the right to turn it off, left to turn it on. We do have a gauge inside that will tell you how much LP you have, or there is another gauge on the tank out here to tell you how much LP we have. This compartment is never locked, and that's just for safety. All right, moving forward. Okay, so here's our electrical compartment. On the bottom, there's a little screw up cap here that comes out. That's where we can pass our cord through right here. And then that allows us to still close this door and lock it. So everything's secure that we have in there. The main thing we need to know in this compartment is right around the corner here, there's a plug-in. So this plug-in up here actually is your generator. So when the generator is running, it will power this plug-in. Now we have to bring the cord back into the compartment and plug it into that outlet to feed the coach. That's the only way the generator will actually power the coach, is by plugging that cord into that outlet. A good habit to get into is anytime you store this cord, just plug it into that outlet. And then if you're driving down the road, start your generator, you'll have power. The other thing we send with is a 30 to 20 adapter. So that allows us to reduce this cord down to just a normal house plug-in. The only thing we need to be careful of is what we run when we're plugged into the normal house plug-in. Is we don't want to try to run the AC and tons of lights, tons of everything in there. It's going to probably trip the breaker if we do that. So just be careful when you do plug into that. All right, in front of that is going to be our generator. So there's only a couple things you need to know about the generator. And that's going to be, cover comes off. All I did was quarter turn these. So it's just like that, and then you can release it. All right, so the couple things you need to know in here, there is a start button in here. What we're gonna do is we're gonna hold the stop button until you see a red light. So now that's priming the generator. Then you'll just hold the start button until it starts. They're also right down here around the corner, there is a breaker. It's a 30 amp breaker. So if your generator is running and you're plugged into that outlet in the electrical compartment, but it's still not giving you power, come check this breaker. More than likely that breaker tripped for some reason. Other than that, there is an altitude adjustment up here too if we're up in the mountains or anything and it's not running very good. it does give you an altitude adjustment up there. More than likely, you'll never have to touch that, but it is there if we ever need it. Those are really the only things we need to know about the generator. We can start it from the inside also, and I'll show you that once we go inside. All right. Okay. Open the driver's door. A couple things in here while we're over here is window controls are on the door here. We have the driver's side and passenger side. You have the door locks here. We have mirror controls up by the window there for left and right. And then the red button above that is actually for mirror defrosters. Okay, and then right around the corner here, your hood release is right here. Parking brake release is right above that, right there. Right above that, we're gonna have our headlights. So we got running lights or full headlights right there. There are no automatic lights, so you have to remember, turn them on, shut them off. Right beside that's a dimmer switch for all of our backlighting. And then over here we have our blinkers up and down. That's our brights and dims. This is our windshield wipers if we twist the end of the handle there. And then push in on the handle if you want the windshield washer fluid. Right here is our steering wheel adjustment. So that's how we adjust the steering wheel up and down. Okay, now we'll go to the front of the coach here. Okay. Up front, the release is just to the right of the Ford symbol. We're just pulling this across right here. You're going to go up. And we'll just put that there to hold it. Okay, basically the main things under here are our engine coolant is on the right side. We have brake fluid right beside that. Power steering fluid in front of that. Then over here, actually right down here, kind of see that oil dipstick is right down in there. Kind of buried, but it's down there. On this side, we have our emission fluid dipstick up here. We have our oil fill, and then windshield washer fluid is right over here. And that's about it underneath the hood that we need to know for our fluids, any of that stuff. And again, 70 PSI on the tires up front. And then coming behind the passenger door here, we have another big storage down low. So another place to store stuff. Lots of storage on the outside of this coach. Okay, now that we talked about all the outside stuff, let's go ahead and go inside and we'll go through all the inside stuff. Okay, now that we're inside, let's go through the inside stuff. All right, so in the first cabinet up here, one thing that will come with the RV is operator's manual. So this is going to help you operate everything in the coach. If you have troubles running stuff, refer to this manual because more than likely this is going to run you through it. So just flip through it, find whatever you need to, and then that will help you. That's there. All right, down below we have two reading lights. They have push buttons right in the middle of the light. Right there. Same thing over there. We have our Mcd Shades. Pull down, release. Slider window, just undo the latch. Gonna slide open, slide back, latch to lock. All right, down below that, we do have our jackknifing sofa. There's a little tether right here on the front. That's how we release it. Pull forward and then up. And then it jackknifes just straight down to make a bed. So that one's really easy to do. Couple seat belts, 3 seat belts here for any travelers you have going with you. And then when we go back up, you're just gonna push it and it's gonna lock into place. All right, we do have one more storage cabinet up above. Right there. Microwave does plug in up here. So if we ever have a problem with the microwave, an emergency, we can unplug it right there. Okay. Over here we have our microwave. And that's exactly what it is. It's a microwave. Nothing fancy, no convection, none of that stuff. It's just standard microwave. Put a time in, push start. Push the black button there, opens it, glass tray, and roller in there. Close the latch. Down below that we have our hood vent, which we have a light, and then we also have our exhaust fan on there. On or off. Down below that we have our stove. And stovetop. Okay, so stovetop, we have 3 burners. They have a picture right there which burner each one goes to. You're just going to turn it to light and then turn the sparker until it lights. Just like that. Took a little longer that time just because we were bleeding the air out. Sometimes with RVs you get air in the lines and it does take a little bit to light. So if you hear it bleeding out, it is starting to get gas out. Just keep hitting that sparker. Don't stop hitting the sparker. And then once you get those lit, you can turn it down to a simmer or up to that high flame, whatever you prefer there. Do wait till everything cools down before we do bring this glass down. Under too much heat, that glass can break, so wait till it cools down before you flip this back down. On your oven, a couple things we have to do here. So first thing on the turn handle here. Up here, it says pilot on. So you're going to go pilot on, and then way in the back there, kind of hard to see, but it's going to be way back under here. We have to light the pilot. So once you light that pilot, after you turn this to pilot on, the pilot will stay on. Then you can set whatever temperature you want. But once you shut this back to the off position, it will actually shut that pilot back off. So I prefer you always going back to the off position and then relighting it each time you want to use it. You could leave it to the pilot on, but you're just wasting LP. I would just go off every time and then light it whenever you want to use it. Okay. Do have a storage underneath stove right there. Alright, more storage here beside the sink. Do have a remote for the TV. We have more storage underneath the sink. Right there. Have our faucet up here with our pull-out sprayer. We can change the spray types with the switch in the front there. And then it's a matter of pulling out on this. Down is hot, up is cold. Back in is off. Have your 2 stoppers in the bottom. And again, we have lights above the kitchen sink. That has the same push buttons right on them. There and there. And more storage above. Okay, now we'll go around the corner here. Okay, we're gonna go right to the wall here. This is kind of all the controls that Winnebago puts in here. So our very first control way up at top, we have 2 controls, and that's for our slide rooms. All right, so this is important. We have 2 safety switches to make these slide rooms go in or out. Engine needs to be running is one of our safety switches. And then the emergency parking brake also has to be applied. So a good habit to get into is when you park, leave your engine running, apply that emergency parking brake, come back here, put your rooms out, and then go back up and shut your engine off. And it's simply in and out. All you're going to do is hold it out position until you hear that motor shut off. Then you know you're all the way out. Same thing coming back in. And before you take off, always do that walk around on the outside. Make sure, you know, all the rooms are closed. You have everything picked up underneath. Just do a final check on that. Down below that's our holding tank heaters. So if we are camping in freezing conditions, we do want to turn that on. That's 12 volt pads on the bottom of the gray tank and black tank. It's going to help keep those thawed out. Right beside that is our inverter. So what our inverter does, it actually takes battery power and switches it over to 110 volt, just your normal outlet power. And pretty much what that is for, so we can run our TV while we travel, or we can run our TV while we're dry camping. We can also run a couple plugins in here. Dinette, bedroom. None of the ones around the sink or the bathroom will work on the inverter. So it's just a couple plugins, and that's mainly for charging cell phones, computers, small electrical, or what that's for. It's not for heaters, not for curling irons, stuff like that. Just smaller appliances. All right, and all that is a matter of holding it. You'll hear a beep and see a green light come on. When we are plugged in, we're just passing through that inverter. It's not even using it, so there's no point of even having that on if you are plugged in. And again, that's just hold it, and it will shut off. But if you're traveling and want to use it, you have to have that on if you want to use the TV or those plugins. All right, let's go down below that. We have our generator right there. So we have an hour meter over here, and then we have the start and stop. Just like outside, I want you to hold that stop button for about 3 to 5 seconds, give or take. And then what we're going to do is hold the start button until that generator starts. If it doesn't start on the first, hold the stop button again. That will prime it again. And then hold the start button. And then all you gotta do is hit the stop one time to shut down. But like I told you before, we ran the generator there, but the generator was not producing any electricity to us because we didn't plug the cord in outside to that plug-in in the electrical compartment. All right, down below that is going to be our water heater. So it's simply on or off. Down below it will tell you pilot out. It will try lighting. If it tries lighting 3 times and it doesn't light, it will give you that pilot out light. Once it lights, that pilot out light goes away. And then all you do is simply go off to shut it off. This can stay on the whole time you're camping. Water heater shuts off when it heats up. Has a thermostat in there that shuts it down. So that can stay on the whole time you're camping if you want to. Otherwise, over here's our water pump switch. Again, that's when we put water in that fresh water tank. Now we have to use the water pump to take it out of that tank to feed all the faucets and showers and everything in here. And that's a matter of just on and off. And it will tell you a red light here that the pump is on. That also can stay on the whole time you're camping, and it's an on-demand water pump. So it only runs when we make a call at the faucets. Down below that's going to be all of our tank levels. So starting to the left here, you have your LP. That will show you how much LP you have in the coach. Next is battery charge. So it's going to tell you empty, 1/3, 2/3, full. And then fresh water, black water, and gray water. So black water is going to be your toilet and the sink in the bathroom. Your gray water is going to be kitchen sink and shower. Down below that's a thermostat. So this is going to run your AC and also your heat. 3 buttons, really easy to use. The bottom button here is going to run you through all your settings. So if I push it once, it lights up. Push it again, you got fan low, which is just the AC fan. Fan high, again, is just that AC fan running. Then we have cool. Now we're using the compressor in here. Cool high, cool low auto, cool high auto. Or then you have heat, which is gas heat. That's your furnace. So anytime you need a heat in there, make sure that says gas heat, and then it simply arrows up and down to set the thermostat. Same thing with AC, just arrow up and down whatever you want the room set at. And then if you don't want anything on, just make sure it says off, and that will shut all systems off. All right, down below that we have 2 light switches. One here is a 3-way light for up front. There's another switch right when we walk in the door that turns those lights on too. Next switch to that is for the hallway, right above my head. And we have more storage right beside us here. Okay, moving to the bathroom. The door. So there's a lock on the door. Just a twist handle lock. Light switches here, just right inside the door. Shower wise, for our shower head, we have a stopper right here that will stop all water flow. So again, we're limited to the amount of water we have on board and the amount of water that we can waste on board. So this will help you take shorter showers, is what that's for. Hot and cold, hot on left, cold on right. There is a skylight up above me. It just kind of gives you more light coming in and a little bit more headroom for taller people. Shower door. You're going to pull across. It's going to latch on the trim right here. It is a membrane shower door. It's pretty durable, but still be careful with it. Don't fall into it. Don't push on it. Don't let it slam shut. It will squeegee itself off as it goes back in. But what we want to do is push it in off that trim, and we want to hold it because it is spring loaded. So if you let go, it's going to slam shut. So hold it and just set it back there nicely. Don't let it just slam open. All right, behind me is sink. You got hot on the left, cold on the right. Little stopper in the bottom that we can plug the off for shaving, whatever. Storage underneath the sink. Up here we have a Gfi plugin. Right over here there's a red light if it trips. So if you see that red light on, that means it's tripped. You need to hit this little button to reset. Right there, no red light, you're good. That plugin controls the plugins that are in the kitchen and also the exterior plugin. So if those aren't working, come check this Gfi plugin. All right, more storage up above. We do right over here have a towel hook, just right beside the mirror. And then as we go above my head here, we have an exhaust fan. So all you gotta do is crank it open. And there's a little switch, kind of hard to see, a little black switch right here. That's gonna turn the fan on. So anytime we're showering, anything with moisture in here, let's get that open, get that moisture out of here so we're not, you know, damaging wood, any of that stuff. We want to get moisture out of coaches. Close that. Toilet. Okay, toilet's right on a foot pedal. Down on the right side here. Right there. So if I barely push that down, that's going to fill the bowl up with water. If I fully push it down, that's going to dump it down into the black tank. So depending on how much water you want, push it until it fills up to what you want, and then when you're done, drop it in the black tank. All right. Toilet paper holder is right around the corner here. Okay, in the bedroom, we do have a privacy curtain that does have just a snap on it here. So there's a little button on the wall there that you unsnap. It's going to come across, and then there's a little hole right in the middle here. Little peg right on this side. Line those two up and snap it shut. Just like this. Line it up and snap it shut. That's going to hold it closed. Back over, and then again, anytime you're not using it, just put that button back on so that's not flopping around, not breaking, any of that stuff. Okay, so in the bedroom, on the right side of the bed here, we have storage up above that does have a hanging bar in there for clothes. So up high, hanging bar there. Then down below, we have two storage drawers. And then right beside the nightstand there, you have a 110 volt outlet, a 12 volt outlet, and then also USB ports. So charging phones, any of that stuff. All right, up above the bed, we do have big storage up above the bed for whatever needs to be put up there. All right, same thing on this side of the bed. We have hanging bar up high. And then down below, you do also have the 110 plug-in, 12 volt outlet, and USB ports. 3 drawers on this side all the way down. And then again, in the bedroom, we do have Mcd shades on both windows, here and here. Just grab, let go. Both of these are considered an emergency exit window. This one, you're gonna lift the tab up, and then it's on a hinge. So if we ever had an emergency, this is how we would get out. Or again, the other slider window that works exactly like the front, you just flip the latch open and then slide the window open. We can also exit out of that window also. They are both labeled exit with a red tab, exit signs on these two. Okay. On the base of the bed here, we do have another big wardrobe, hanging bar up high. Couple storage drawers down low, below the wardrobe, and then we also have 3 more below the TV. A little counter over here with a 110 volt outlet. Sliding window again. The light above has that push button on it just like all the other lights in here. We have our bedroom TV here. The bedroom TV can be lifted up, and there is storage behind the bedroom TV also. Go back down. Make sure you hold it because it's going to want to slam down when you let go. So hold it till it closes. Bedroom light switch is right around the corner here. Right there. And then if we look underneath the bed here, so this is under the mattress, down this little cubby. So basically the only thing you really need to know down there is the silver valve. That's going to be your fresh water tank drain. That's how we drain all the water out of our fresh water tank. Other than that, you have your 12 volt water pump, stuff like that down there. All right, you do have your, this isn't a fan, this is just a vent up here that we crank open if we want to get some airflow in here. Again, just crank it open, it allows air to move around. Then right in front of that, we have our carbon monoxide detector with a test button right in the front. All right, coming up here into the bunk area. All right, couple things in the bunk area. Again, we have a slider window in the back with a curtain on it. Up top here, there is another hanging bar here. It's a matter of sliding it sideways and then flipping it down. This works as a whole nother closet because this top bunk can actually fold up out of the way. I'll show you that. So we'll fold that out of the way. All you're gonna do is lift, and then there's a latch right on this side here. So latch, and then that keeps that out of the way. Flip that bar down, now we got a big storage for clothes or whatever we need to in here. Pull that back up, and then you're gonna release that. Release, drop it back down, just like that. And then you get your bunks back. In the bunk area, we do have lights in both of them. Again, those are the push button lights up here. And then we do also have your USB ports here. A little bit of storage for a phone or something here in the basket area. Bottom bunk has the identical stuff in it, the light on this side, basket, and USB ports. We do have curtains on both of them that do give you the privacy. All right, and then we do have a storage drawer down below the bunk area. Not a deep one, but it actually is a big, long storage drawer. That. All right, so let's move back up here into the kitchen area. All right, let's talk about the fridge. So on the fridge, we have power switch right here. So that's going to turn it on and off. We have a mode button here, which if I push it, now it's saying we're on electric and we're in auto. What auto does is it will choose electric or gas on its own. So if we would lose power in the middle of the night, it's going to switch over to gas automatically, keep all the food good inside. If I push it again, and all you see is an electric symbol, that means it's strictly on electric. So if you lose power, it's not going to switch over to LP. Next one is the drip. That actually is LP. If it was me, what I would do is just always leave it in auto, let it do its own thing. Switch back and forth if it needs to. Over here is temperature control. 1 is your warmest, 5 is your coldest. So depending on the climate outside and temperature is going to depend how many snowflakes we need. Most of the time 3 or 4 is plenty, but it all depends. If your food's starting to freeze in the fridge, you have it set too cold. So we have releases here. You're going to pull up on the handle, open for our freezer. And then same thing for the fridge. Lots of storage in the fridge. We have side compartments here. Close. Down below we have 1 storage drawer here. And I do also have 3 more on this side of the kitchen cabinet. Down below that we have our LP detector. So the 2 up on the ceiling are smoke detector, a carbon monoxide detector, both take 9-volt batteries. The LP detector is hardwired into our coach batteries. So anytime our batteries are on, that LP detector will be on. And the green light will always be on, telling you there's power going to it. There is a test button on the front of it. It is really loud, so if you hear that go off, get out of your coach, go shut that LP off outside, take it to a dealer, bring it back, whatever we need to do to find out what's going on with that. All right. I guess one more thing about the LP detector too is if you're using hairsprays or aerosol cans, that can set that off too. So just remember that. Okay, down here. All right, so down here we have our load center. So in the load center, we have all of our 110 volt breakers here. Everything's labeled right over here what each of those breakers go to. What they're going to do is they're going to trip halfway. What we have to do is shut them all the way off, turn it back on to reset it. On this side is all of our 12 volt fuses. Everything's labeled right here what it goes to. The size of fuse you need is right there too. So if we ever have a problem with anything running in here, come check this first. If we need to check a fuse, what we usually do is you can pull it out and look at the center. If it looks like there's a burnt spot in it, that's the fuse that's bad. So say your lights went out, pull the one for lights, look at it. Alright, so now we can close that. You will hear a fan running in there too. That is for the converter. That is completely normal for that fan to be running. Alright, a little bit of storage up above the door. Do also have storage here and here. Nice big storage up above the dinette table. Again, our 2 reading lights underneath, push buttons right on them. Mcd Shades. Sliding glass again, release the latch, slide it sideways. Okay, down below this, we have our dinettes. Again, it's full half moon seating pretty much. It gives you a lot of seating around the table. Table can swivel. So it gives you a little bit more leg room to go underneath if we have 4 people, 2 people. Or you can go this way if you have more people. Allows everyone to get around. This also converts into a bed. I'll show you that here in a second. But under this cushion, and this cushion is all storage. So all you gotta do is lift up on them. I can show you one of them here. So lift up and there's a little round hole there. Pull up on that and it's all storage underneath all this. Okay, so let's make this into a bed. Really easy to do. So what we're gonna do, there's a release. I'm gonna take this off and I'll show you the release. Okay. So, let's flip this over. Right here, it's a tension release. So what that does is hold the table in place so it's not moving on you. But when we're gonna make it into bed, we need to take that off and then we're gonna remove this leg completely. Where you store this doesn't really matter. You can put it underneath here if you want to. And where this is gonna go is we're gonna go up. And there's 2 little ledges here and here. There and there. So what we need to do is this needs to get put right on that ledge. So right there. And then now what we do is this back cushion that was back here can slide right there. And then these two little cushions, there, and there. So it gives us another place to sleep. So again, we have our main bed back there, you have your jackknife bed behind me, we have our dinette that folds into a bed, and then we also have the bunk up high there, over the cab. So we have a lot of sleeping in this coach. All right, let's just reverse that now. Take the two small out, like that. Take the big one out, put that back. Take the table out. Leg back in. Table back on top. And then tighten that tensioner down again. So if I tighten the tensioner down, now this table won't twist at all either. So if you're trying to twist the table, release that tensioner. Underneath the table, there is also 110 volt outlets, 12 volt, and then also USB ports. Okay, up above here we do have our DVD player. We have all of our controls on top, power button, eject, play is all up there. And that is wired right into the TV up front. All right. TV up front does have a release on it. There's a tether back here. So when I take that to the wall, this is for anytime we travel. You want to hear that clip. That's going to lock it in place so that can't be swinging around when we're traveling. Okay, the one thing I want to show you around the corner here is way up high. So right up here. That is a booster switch. There's a little button on it. So if we want to use the antenna on the roof, we have to make sure there's a green light on by pushing that little button up there. Once that green light's on, then we're going to go to the TV menu, go into where it says channel, and then we're going to do a channel search on antenna. If you're hooked up to the cable outside at a resort, we're going to do channel searches on their cable stations. And again, that's all in menu and then on that channel icon. But every time you switch locations, you'll have to redo that search to find out whatever channels are in that location. Really easy to do, and you'll have to do it separately to both TVs, the bedroom TV and the front TV. All right, up in the bunk, we do have another vent fan, or a vent up high, no fan. And that's just a matter of cranking it up to allow a little air to flow in, circulate some air. We have our board here, our bed board here that just slides down into place. Just like that. The ladder has the two hooks right here. All you're going to do is put those in these mounts up here and down. The mounts up here, just keep that locked onto there. And it's a matter of just going up. And then if we want to reverse this, up. Ladder, lift, and then slide that to the back. So that's really easy to do too. Other thing we have up here is a curtain. And the curtain up here has a little Velcro strip on the top of it. What that's for is right here. You'll see these little Velcro round things. So that's where this is going to go. It's going to go here. And as it comes forward, there's another one up here. And then we just keep going around the windshield, all the way around this side, and finish on this side. That's going to give you your privacy up front. And again, that's all that uses is just that Velcro strip, is it. Put that away. Come on. All right. Yep. Also have window up high, slider window on that side. Mcd shade also over there. The light in the bunk area, again, is that push button right in the center. We do have a privacy curtain that comes all the way across, gives us our privacy up above. And then our smoke detector, that's right above that. Okay, so up front, a couple things up here is on our steering wheel, we have cruise control, on, off, resume, set, excel, and coast. Horn in the middle, shifter on the right side, so it goes from park, reverse, neutral, drive, fourth gear, second gear, first gear. You do have tow haul here. Tow haul is good to use whenever in really hilly situations, mountains, any of that. Turn the tow haul on. We can actually use the engine to kind of brake us instead of riding the brakes all the way down that hill. Again, our forward key is our ignition key. There's one button right up here that will scroll you through your dash options, which would be like fuel range, odometer, trip, anything like that. Over here in the middle, we're going to have our battery boost button. What that actually does is, say you left your headlights on and killed the chassis battery, which is the starting battery, we can hold this button in. That will tie the starting battery to our coach batteries and allow us to start our vehicle. It kind of jump starts your vehicle off of our other batteries is what it's for. Coming down below that, we have our climate control here. These are our fan speeds. This is our thermostat for colder or hotter. Then we have AC control, vent selection, off, put the air on the floor, mix, or defrost. We have 12-volt outlet, 12-volt outlet. A couple other things we have in here are, not really uncovered, is a USB port. So this will tie your phone or charger into this radio. So then we can listen to music, we can do our hands-free calling, anything with that. If we do hands-free calling, then packaged up still, this is our microphone for that. So we can put that anywhere. If you want to set it down here, clip it on your shirt, doesn't matter. So that's how we answer a call, then we'll just talk into that mic, and that's how they're going to hear us. So that's what those two things are right there. Okay. So I'm going to turn this on. Horn works. Alright, so radio starting up. This is pretty basic radio. Really, that's all this thing is for, is your phone, a radio, and a rear view camera. So we're on the radio now. Now we're on the camera. But on the radio, down here is how we tune. Use the little arrows going back and forth. Over here is presets. Over here is volume. You have eject here for your CDs. Over here is your camera. So that's the rear view camera. Anytime we put this coach in reverse, that's going to automatically come up. Over here's the menu. So CD, Bluetooth, Pandora, AV. So then that brings everything up that this offers. Camera view, which is turn your camera on or off. iPod, which is on there. Sirius XM, auxiliary port. AV not used, car source not used, car features not used, USB, nothing's plugged into that. You have the ability to do Spotify, Pandora, there's our Bluetooth, and then HD radios there. The disc will light up if I put a CD in there. Back to radio. Alright, and this is just going back to the previous setting. Down here is muting. That will mute it all. Other than that, we have settings up here, which is just radio settings, all the features. Pretty basic radio, but has everything you need. All right, on this side over here, we do have a glove box, just down low here. That. All right, shut that off. Other than that, that's about it up here. That's about it everywhere. Alright, well, that should hopefully get you through the day. Hopefully you have a good time out there camping. Have a great day.